Hey, welcome back to another episode from Life from Living Well. I hope you are well and you're keeping safe. My name is Richard. Before I start the podcast for this week, I quickly like to mention 2 or 3 things like I normally do before I jump into the topic. This week, if you like to send me an email and you like to know more about what Life for Living Well do, and you really want to find out about how you can help the community, you can check us out on our website at www.lifeforlivingwell.info, or you can also use this link at the same time. The same link is www.lifeforlivingwell.com. And if you'd like to send me an email regarding any information about the community, you can send me an email at richard.anthony@lifeforlivingwell.info. I hope that you're well and you're in a good shape to join me this week for this particular podcast. So right now, let's get started. The topic I have this week, I call it Purpose of Life. Yes. If I claim to you that I have the monolithic answer to this question, please don't believe me. It was a question that I asked about many times. What is the purpose of life? Well, apparently, I'm not the only person that asks this question, and I'm not the only person that's conscious of this. I've realized that this question has been asked 1,000 years even before I come to the exist. And I can assure you that if the world still exists in 1,000 years' time, there will be people or person or robotic or artificial intelligence that will ask the same question again. So, before I expand more to it, this particular week podcast is more about questioning than providing the answer. But like the pattern or the style of this particular podcast or Life for Living podcast, I tend to elaborate on the questioning that I do every week, and I left it to you listener to do your own digging and ask your own the same question. And apparently, everyone have the answer within us if you were care enough to dig deep into it. So, what will you consider the purpose of life for you? Because my purpose of life might be different for you purpose of life. And you can have 3 siblings and they both chose 3 different paths of how they go to their life. But I can assure you that wherever you go in the world, there's something universal about living a life of meaningful life, and there's something universal about happiness according to how Saliman defined it in his book Authentic Happiness. I actually suggested that if you have not read the book, you should give it a try. It's really good, especially in the field of positive psychology. It's a book that can open your eyes to things that you probably have and you took for granted, or things that you're lacking that you can work on and can bring balance into your life. So throughout the history, human beings have craving for meaningful life. As a result, they have chosen several paths in achieving this. Some looking for prestige, status, and some looking for power. So they actually got the power and they abuse the same power. They use the power to destroy rather than to create. So in most cases, happiness and fulfillment is the driver for meaningful life. So there's a research about this that done by Saliman and his team. Especially when written the book of Authentic Happiness, it shows that creating a life of meaning brings purpose to your life. why a father refused to give up in life just because he knows that his family depend on him. Why his mother prioritized the safety of his home first above anything else is because family become more fabric in our own soul, in our own hearts. So again, what's the purpose of life? I wish I have a superpower to tell you that this and this is the purpose of life. But what I have seen in observing men and women, not in my own generation before me, generation before my parents, and now observing the same men and women in my own generation, my own life, I find out that they define a particular purpose for their life. And all those purpose is something that's higher and bigger than themselves. So I ask myself, what's the purpose of life? Are we just here and just enjoying ourselves, do whatever we want to do, destroy the planet system, take more than we need? Are we that the purpose of who we are here as a human being? Or maybe there's no purpose of why we're here, we just arrive here by accident. Imagine we arrive here by accident. Are we also allowed to abuse and overuse the resources that it could last generation upon generation, while one generation decided to take everything off? There was this Chinese proverb that always played in my mind. As much as I find it deeper to pondering about it, I also find it amused because it seemed to be true. So there's this Chinese old proverb that said that 3 generations create wealth. One started it, one built it up, another one destroy it by abuse it, overuse it. It doesn't save it, it doesn't keep it, it doesn't increase it, it just spend it. So which kind of generation we say we are? So when we define the purpose of life, we could go back to the Greek times when they defined how to live a life. So they decided that follow the path of the hedonistic could be the only way you can live your life. But there's another school of thought that said, no, a man cannot fulfill or be happy by just blowing your life up like that. I once met someone in the past, and she said to me that the reason why she go to party is because life is too short. But even if you don't go to party, life is too short. And that's why always Abraham Lincoln said that the quality of a life is not the length of the years, but the quality of the length of the years. It's what your life represents when you are here. You could live for 34 years, you could live for 100 years. You could live for 34 years and make a massive impact compared with somebody that lived for 100 years. You could live 100 years and make multiple impact on your life and everyone else around you. And I think personally, with what I've observed, with my little research that I've done about this area, it was a question that asked 1,000 years ago. It was a question that we're asking right now, even in 2021. What is the purpose of life? Nature shows us that the purpose of life is to be present, is to be loving, is to be kind. But you can define your own purpose, and you can rank your purpose to a meaningful thing that bring joy, happiness, freedom into your own life. Today, just look around you. Many people have been trying so harder to create a lifestyle that can bring a meaning into their life. For example, they overly using social media in order to present certain image or agenda how they want to be seen. They're not really interested in the content of the book. They're more interested in the cover of the book. And so when you open the book, it's empty. Or even when the book is full of content, it's gibberish. It has no meaning because it's so full of chaos. And imagine what kind of life such an individual will have to live day and day. Could we say this is the purpose of life? If this assertion is correct, that the purpose of life is to follow the path of hedonistic, self-pleasure, we will not still have many of these people reporting personal and psychological issues with their mental health and chronic unhappiness. You can say it every day. There's always a sad story of someone lost the control of their own car. I'm not talking about the automobile car. I'm talking about in a very figurative way that your life is your car. And if you are not in control of it, it will control you. You cannot control everything that happens to you, but you do have influence how you react to what happened to you. So at the end, you are also a creator. So when you are a creator, you are no longer an observer or passenger. You make choices or you let events make choices for you. Someone was telling me that, she used to have some kind of friend and whatever she tell them to do, they do it. And you can see the kind of friendship with this. You can see where the power lies. She said, if I tell them to jump, they jump. So anytime she met a friend that is not willing to do that, they don't seem to go long. Again, she has created a purpose for her own life, and the kind of purpose that she created is to define people that if they are willing to jump without thinking what they're doing, then they are friends. So you have to ask yourself, is this the right thing for you? It might be right thing for her, but is it the right thing for you to do? So you might not have a friend like that. You might have something different and you are just doing it autopilot. You got to stop and ask yourself, what is the purpose of life? And your purpose of life will change with phases you find yourself. I'm sure of that. The people that I've studied, at one point, their purpose of life change. 10 years later, 20 years later, they do something else that are even bigger than what they're currently doing. So, what is the purpose of life and how one can create it? So, this is the question that this podcast is trying to reach. And if you have the answer to it, please drop me an email or make a comment on our website at www.lifeforlivingwell.com or www.lifeforlivingwell.info. So, to get down into the deep of this podcast is to examine few among many who have lived their life on purpose, which are bigger than who they are. Take, for example, Dr. Viktor Frankl, the founder of logotherapy. This individual alone and the others with him survived one of the world's hardest hardships during the Second World War. He wrote a book as a result of that event, and the book is called A Man's Search for Meaning. And once you find a meaning in your life, that meaning becomes a purpose where you are here. It becomes your call. It becomes your ministry. It becomes the sole reason why you manifest as a human being. You could have manifested as a dog. You could have manifested as a bird. You could have manifested as a tree. You could have manifested as a beautiful flower in somebody else's garden. You could have manifested as an insect. But you are so privileged. You are so beautiful that you manifest as a human being. And then your job is to define what is your cause. You could have been becoming a human being, and your goal purpose in life is to be a farmer. So you're not only just feeding yourself and your family, you feed the entire nation, entire world, just because of the labor of your hand. So because I don't want you to think that the purpose of life is everyone should be certain way. No, you needed to ask those questions by yourself, and you needed to be settled, comfortable, and accept wherever you chose your path to go to. Your purpose in life could be just helping someone. Your purpose in life is serving others. And you could be a nurse and be one of the best one. And that wherever you touch is a healing hand. So when I say the purpose of life, people always looking for power. You see people talking, oh, I want to be popular. I want to be the most influential person. Then you ask, why is that important to you? You see a massive drive, ambitious ego attached to it. People don't pray, oh, I want to be loving more, I want to be humble, I want to be kind, I want to be wise. They ask for power. So when you have the power and you have no virtues to tame that power will get you over drunk. Why many people get to the place of power and the power just reveal their shadow self because it's there. It's not because it's not exist. They are good people, but the things that happen to them, it just maximize who they already are. The power is the one. Power doesn't make them become a bad person. Power doesn't make them behave like a child. The power maximize their childishness, their childish way that was already there, but they were not being in that position to come out. So, but life purpose is different from your shadow. It's something that you have to do the journey, do inquiry, internal inquiry by yourself, and work toward it in order for you to know what is it that you really, really want to do. Only few people will actually chose a job that they so love so much that it no longer look like a job to them anymore, because that's what they always want to do. But majority of the people, 90% of the people, we do a lot of job just to for living, to earn an income. Someone said beautifully, said, your education will earn you a living, it will make you a fortune. Well, I'm not sure whether it's correct, but large proportion of people that are educated are not necessarily the most, all of them are worthy. But they earn a living because of their qualification, because of their experience. They're able to earn a living from that. So, back to the question. What is the purpose of life and how can one create it? As I said, because of the hardship Viktor Frankl went through at Auschwitz, he ended up come up with what kept him going, what kept him alive. Is because he defined a purpose higher than himself, and he create a meaning to his life. So he wrote the book called A Man's Search for Meaning. When we have something to live for and create a meaning to what you have experienced, then what emerges after that is a life with a purpose. So in the West, it is very misleading to think the rest of the world is individualistic. There is still pockets of places that communal thinking is still prevalent. So do not forget that. to have a meaning in our life will not only help us to be a better person, stronger, grow. It will also allow us to go through difficulties of life. Because life, like a Blaster Pascal said, is tough. But that is life. There's no need to feel sad about it. There's no need to be angry about it. There's no need to be dejected about it. It's just know that that is the life. But what purpose you will create yourself for being here now, because you are fortunate to be here. But profound inner freedom, which build a character in the process. So this is the highest need of all human beings. Every human being, one thing you have in common, which is universal, is to have a life of meaning. You cannot escape it. It's a purpose, and that's the reason why when we are denied this, when we're running away from this, something else take that place. Sometimes what we have used to substitute the real work that we wanted to do or feel is not always for our own best interests. It costs us money, it costs us relationship, it affects us psychologically, mentally. So today, if you look at the news, currently, you will have come across many wealthier individuals that have given out large portions of their wealth to the cause that are bigger than themselves, which is benefit wider society and the world. Sponsor a research for a global epidemic, providing the resources to provide water for the area that lack water, making education avoidable for the poorest in the world, not just in their own tribes or their own country. Why do they do that? It's because of creating a purpose, what kind of person you are. It defines how you treating other people. I think a wise person once said, you can tell a lot about a nation how they treat their animals. And it's true. As much we are all craving to be someone, but behind this need is meaningful life that we seek most, the highest need of all human beings. Some people find their needs met by having family, create jobs, helping others. Some people are still working to find their purpose in life, and that's fine. But the purpose of this podcast is not to just tell you that if you do this, that's the purpose of life. It's telling you that your purpose of life could be what you're already doing. It depends how you feel peace in your heart and you feel comfortable in your mind. But to find a meaningful life, you must have a purpose in life, and you must seek to create a purpose for your life. At the end, as individual, you have power to create a purpose in your life. Choose one that serves you and others in a positive and healthy way. Okay, just reached 23 minutes past for this particular podcast. I wanted to go more on it, but what I want you to take away from this particular podcast this week is to spend time by yourself. Is to try and dig in what is your purpose on this life. Many people are not able to take a time and stop and ask themselves, what's my purpose of being here? And it's okay if your purpose is not as grand there as like other people might have been. That is fine, because like I said earlier, your main purpose might be just be a farmer from Yorkshire and provide the best meat in Yorkshire to feed the nation or feed the world. That's your purpose, and do it diligently. I hope you have an amazing week and you keep safe and enjoy it. And if you do have any questions, please write to me at richard.anthony@lifeforlivingword.info. And if you'd like to know more about what Life for Living Word do, check us out on our website at www.lifeforlivingword.info or www.lifeforlivingword.com. Whatever you do, have an amazing week and keep safe. Thank you.